quick video on how I mount a tire. And again, I'm no expert. This is just kind of the way I figured out the way to do it. First, you took out the bearings as they're shipped. You just take out this snap ring right here. You can get a screwdriver under this end and pull it back enough to get it out of the groove. There's two of these and then a dust thing in there. Pull it out, take the bearings out, and then pack the bearings. I gave a link in my forum about a good link in EAA if you want to see about how to pack a bearing. I just put some grease in the palm of my hand and then just start packing it in using my right hand, pushing the bearing. Anyway, after you make sure you just do pack both sides of the bearings first. You can see here, this will be clear. This is white right now. This is silicone caulk. And see there, I put it from the back side, fill that valve stem hole completely. It will turn clear when it dries. And that's because we don't have valve stems that go into it like a tubeless tire or a tubed tire. The Bushwheels have an internal tube built into the tire itself, and that valve stem is here. And that makes it so that if you ever were to put the brakes on really hard and the tire were to spin on the rim, as can sometimes do, if you had the valve stem coming through here to a tube, you could tear the valve stem or the tube and have a flat tire on landing. So that's kind of a cool thing about these Bushwheels. So anyway, once you pack the bearings, take the nuts and everything off, and then I'm gonna turn the tire over, and I'm gonna do this with one hand. Basically, you can see what I did here is I took the back side and I put the bolts through, and I put some masking tapes there just to hold the bolts in place the best I could while I worked with it. Then you can take some wide, this got some old pieces of 2x4 or whatever, wide, because they can go across here, see, because you got distance between here and the tire. So I want these to hit here, and then I stack a couple of these up like that are narrow enough to go in here. See where the nuts are, or where the screws, bolts are. So that's smaller like that. So that way when I lay this back down, then I lay it so that this is going to go up inside of here, and then the rest of them will hit on here, but not on the rest of the tire, so I can push it down. The problem is that once you get it down, you lay it over, push this rim up as far as you can, just kind of push it up, and you can see I've powdered it, and I just used some powder I just had some Gold Bond medicated powder. So I just use a little Gold Bond, and not too much, because if you put too much, obviously it makes it slip. So that's just so you can slip the rim into the tire. Once you've got that done, I just lay it over and center that. See over there, so now I've got the tire, see, is off of the concrete. It'll wobble around, so I've got room to push on it. And then you'll take this top part and line up look down in there, line up all three bolts. And this thing has a channel that goes through this piece all the way over to the other side. So you have to make sure you can't just put it down and then move it. You have to line it up as you put it down on there. So just look in there, line up all three bolts, push them down there easy so that you're not pushing the bolts back out. Remember, because we had some masking tape back there to hold it. Then once I do that, make sure you've got the valve stem is out of it. And then what I do is I literally get on my knees like this, and you can hear the air coming out. And you don't have to push down around the rim, just go like this. And as you do it and push this down, you'll see the bolts will rise up, see, into the rim like that. Make sure you got your washer and a nut handy. And as you can see here, I just got one started like this with one hand. So once you got it started, you can let go. And now all you gotta do is raise it up and go ahead and use your sockets and go ahead and remove the tape. And then we're just gonna torque them down to, it tells you right there, 150 inch-pounds. So we'll just, now I'll go ahead and I can tighten this one down enough to make sure I can get my washer nut on this side and that one, and then torque it down, and that's it. Just be careful that you're not pinching the tire anywhere. If you've been careful and you put a little powder around there, you shouldn't be pinching it. But you can also leave one of these bearings out right here, and so that you can see in there real good and look around, and then make sure you haven't pinched the tire anywhere, and then you can put the bearing in. So that's pretty much it. That's the way I do it. If anybody's got any Easier ways, just let me know, but that seems to work pretty good.